भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। अजानताम् तत्परवीम् अनात्मनि आत्मा आत्मना भासी वितत्य मायं सृष्टौ इव अहम् जगतः विधाने एव एषः त्वमेषः अन्ते एव त्रिनेत्रः अजानतां त्वत्परवीमनात्मनि अजानतां त्वत्परवीमनात्मनि आत्मात्मना भासि वितत्य मायाम् आत्मात्मना भासि वितत्य मायाम् सृष्टा विवाहं जगतो विधान सृष्टा विवाहं जगतो विधान एव त्वमेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः एवं त्वमेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः अजानतां त्वत्परवीमनात्मनि आत्मात्मना भासि वितत्य मायाम् शिष्ट्रा विवाहं जगतो विधान एव त्वमेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः अजानतां त्वत्परवीमनात्मनि आत्मात्मना भासि वितत्य मायम् सृष्टा विवाहं जगतो विधान त्वेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः आत्मात्मना भासि वितत्य मायाम् सृष्टा विवाहं जगतो विधान इव त्वमेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः मायाम् सृष्टा विवाहं जगतो विधान एव त्वमेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः। माताजी जानतां त्वत्परवीमनात्मनि आत्मात्मना भासि वितत्य मायाम् सृष्टा विवाहं जगतो विधान एव त्वमेषोऽन्त इव त्रिनेत्रः Ajanatam. To persons who are in ignorance. Tvat paravim. Of your transcendental position. Anatmani. In the material energy. Atma. Yourself. Atmana. By yourself. Bhasi. Appear. Vitatya. Expanding. Mayam. Your inconceivable energy. Srishtau. In the matter of creation. Eva. As if. Aham. I. Brahma. Jagataha. Of the universe. Vidhane. In the maintenance. Eva. As if. Swamirshaha. Yourself. Ante. In the annihilation. Eva. As if. Trinetraha. Lord Shiva. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, founder and Acharya of International Society of Krishna Consciousness. Translation. To persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by the expansion of your inconceivable energy. Thus, for the creation of the universe, you appear as me, Brahma. For its maintenance, you appear as yourself, Vishnu. And for its annihilation, you appear as Lord Trinetra, Shiva. Purport. Although the impersonal Mayavadi philosophers think that the demigods are illusory, Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and Lord Vishnu are stated here to be expansions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and are thus real. Indeed, they are the extraordinarily powerful controllers of the universe. The ultimate truth is a supreme and beautiful person, and thus throughout the creation of God, we will always find the personal touch. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Jnananjana-shalakaya Chakshur-unmilitam Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadahmayam Dadati Swabadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shriyata Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vikasa Swami Nitanamani Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitanamani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaudavani Prajarini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivas Adi Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Ajanatam Tvat Paravimanatmani Atmatmana Bhasi Vitatyamayam Srishta Vivaham Jagato Vidhana Eva Tomeshonta Eva Trinetraha. To persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by the expansion of your inconceivable energy. Thus, for the creation of the universe, you appear as me, Brahma. For its maintenance, you appear as yourself, Vishnu, and for its annihilation, you appear as Lord Trinetra, Shiva. Right? So, in these recent Bhagavatam verses, we've been going over these prayers of Lord Brahma. After he had gotten bewildered by the Lord's inconceivable energy, or Chinta Shakti, like we've been learning in these previous classes. Krishna Das Prabhu and Chaitanya Prabhu have been doing some delineating nicely on this subject of Krishna's inconceivable energy and his Achinta Shakti, and how it's inconceivable and actually wonderful. It causes wonder. That's the nature of that which is inconceivable. But what is also amazing is that this inconceivable energy of the Supreme Lord is also simultaneously very bewildering. And so in this text right here, this translation, it says, to persons ignorant of your actual transcendental position, you appear as part of the material world, manifesting yourself by the expansion of your inconceivable energy. So this Achinta Shakti of the Supreme Lord is very bewildering, and is bewildering every living entity practically at every step. We see in Bhagavad Gita, verse 7:12, or I don't know. Tribhir gunamaya bhavaya ebi sarvamidam jagat mohitham nabijanati mamivyak paramavayam. This ebi sarvamidam jagat mohitham nabijanati. That this is actually this entire jagat, this whole universe is mohitam, is being bewildered by this tribhir, these three modes of material nature. That includes ignorance, passion, and ignorance, passion, and goodness. So like this, we can see that everyone is being bewildered by this Achinta Shakti because it's inconceivable. This is the nature of the Supreme Lord, that He is very bewildering. His energy, and so we can see regarding His people being bewildered specifically by His transcendental form in Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita as it is. We see that there's this verse 724, Avyaktam Vyaktimapannam Manyate Mama Buddhayaha Param Bhavam Ajanantam Amavyayam Anutamam. That Krishna says, he refers to those as Abudheya, those who previously thought that Krishna was previously impersonal, then afterwards assumed a material form, some material form that's a byproduct of material nature. But Krishna refers to them as Abudheya, unintelligent to say the least. And so there's another verse regarding this, Avajanti Mamudha Manushim Tanumashrutam. So Krishna makes it clear in multiple translations that those who are envious of the Supreme Lord are very much bewildered and take his form to be absolutely material. Since time immemorial, the people have been taking Krishna's form as material. We even see that way back, there's this verse, 725, Naham Prakasha Sarvasya Yogamaya Samavritaha. Those who are fools, mudha, they're Krishna covers himself by his internal potency to those. And we see in that purport that Prabhupada makes the point that even Shishupal himself was deriding the Supreme Lord. But Bhishma knew this was the Supreme Lord he was dealing with. The whole time he knew. Because he was a devotee. He wasn't envious, whereas Shishupal was envious. So, in this way, people are taking his appearance and activities to be completely material. But we see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna makes very clear, Janma karma chame divyam, evam yoveti tattvataha, tiktva deham punar janma, naiti mam eti swarjuna. You know, oftentimes the Mayavadis, they hear this word aja as unborn, and they think that the Supreme Lord means he doesn't have a form. But here, Krishna is saying, Janma karma chame divyam, that Janma and karma, he does have activities in birth. But they're divyam, they're transcendental. But the Mayavadis, they're very much bewildered by these verses that are clearly delineated by Lord Sri Krishna. He's clearly saying that my activities and birth are transcendental, and that those who clearly understand that they are transcendental can ultimately obtain this his abode. But due to the envious nature, and their attachment to mental speculation, the Mayavadis are very much averse to the actual Bhakti Siddhanta, the essence of the Vedas, because they're very much proud by their you could say that their opulence. They're because they're very renounced in the mode of goodness. But mode of goodness they're still conditioned. Yichaiva sattva bhava rajasas tamasas chaye mata eviti tanvihi natvam teshu temai. Goodness, ignorance, or passion, either way you're conditioned by the modes. So being in the mode of goodness comes knowledge, is illumined by knowledge. So those in the mode of goodness tend to strive towards knowledge, and generally they're referred to as jnanis. They're very much absorbed in these Vedanta sutras, and through their mental speculation, trying to understand through this ascending process, this empiricism, the absolute truth. But Krishna makes clear that it is very difficult. It's really difficult through this path of impersonalism to come to the absolute truth. 12.1, 12.2. Evam satata yuktaya ye bhaktas tvam paryupasate. Yeah, I forgot. But 12.1 and 12.2, he makes it clear. Arjuna asks, what who is greater? One who tries to obtain you through this personal path or through this impersonal path? And so Krishna in the next verse go on to say that this his bhakta is actually superior to this impersonal path. But regardless, due to stubbornness or insincerity, whatever you may call it, the jnani, and I don't want insincerity because even jnanis, they can be sincere if they're non-envious, but specifically those who are envious of Krishna, they take to these Mayavadis, they take to this process of ascending, this impersonalism. And Krishna says, Klesho dikataresh tesham avyaktas shaktate chetasam. That is very troublesome. It's very troublesome to take this impersonal path. He makes it very clear. And not only is it difficult, it's not troublesome just at the process, but even at the time of realization, it's very troublesome. The whole process of impersonalism is very troublesome. Why? Because by nature the Supreme Lord is personal, and we're meant to understand him in that way, under the guidance of a spiritual master. So when we try to understand by our own personal prowess, it becomes very bewildering. The Vedas are very complex, and they can be even contradicting throughout the entire Vedas. And so one who tries to understand on his own strength will be bewildered. It's very hard to understand the absolute truth through the Vedas, and Krishna makes that clear. And although you can understand the truth through this impersonal path, it's very difficult. Therefore, because it's very difficult, those who, very rare souls, some very rare souls come to the platform and then go on to have absolute realization of Bhagavan. But generally speaking, most people, they don't. They make it perhaps to the Brahma Jyoti, and they come down, they go up, they come down, and maybe they won't even come up. And along the way, they have a very high chance of identifying themselves as God, as Krishna himself, as one with the Supreme Brahman. But this is improper. This is an improper conclusion. But this is the nature of this impersonal path. It's very difficult. And therefore, it's a very popular conception, this Mayavad. It's very popular because people aren't trying to understand according to a proper authority, but want to understand under the guidance of fools and rascals. There's people who just no understanding of the Vedas, just envious. This pure desire to be the Lord. And in this regard, there's this verse in the purport of 7:25. 7:5. This aparayamitas tvanyam prakritam vidhi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho yairam dharyate jagat. That he makes clear that he's making distinction. He's making distinction. In the previous verse, he's saying bhumir naponalo vayu kamano bhuri revacha ahankara itiyame bhina prakriti rasada. He's making distinction between various energies. He has his various material separated energies, and these are bhumi and napono, earth, water, fire, air, ether. And then the next verse, he's saying apariyamitas tvanyam prakritam vini me param, that there's a superior energy that is comprised of the living entities that are exploiting this material world. And in the purport, he makes this very nice quote from Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada, Srimad Bhagavatam 10.87.30. And the translation is, O Supreme Eternal, if the embodied living entities were eternal and all-pervading like you, then they would not be under your control. But if the living entities are accepted as minute energies of the Supreme Lord, then they are at once subject to your supreme control. Therefore, real liberation entails surrender by the living entities to your control, and that surrender will make them happy. And that constitutional position only can they be controllers. Therefore, men with limited knowledge who advocate the monistic theory that God and the living entities are equal in all respects are actually guided by a faulty and polluted opinion. Here is making clear that those who are thinking themselves be one with God are contaminated. This is an improper and polluted opinion. That by this process of bhakti, we're connecting to our constitutional position, and therefore experiencing great bliss. But by this impersonal, this Mayavad conception, it completely ruins us. It ruins us in every way. So it's useless. We shouldn't strive for this impersonalism, but we can see it's very prominent. because enviousness of Krishna is very prominent. It's the deepest and Narta within us is to be separate from Krishna. That's why we're here in the material world. Therefore, people are very much attracted to this impersonal theory. But Bhagavad Gita, it's very clearly understood. Krishna is personal. Throughout all the Shastra, it's clearly understood. We can see it throughout Ishopanishad, Bhagavad Gita, even as Ishopanishad, there's this Hiranmayena Patrena Satyasya Pitamukam, but something Pushpam Pavrinu Satya Dharmaya Drishte. That is being asked, oh Lord, kindly remove this effulgence so that I may take darshan of your face. There's so much throughout the Vedic literatures that the Supreme Lord is personal. But like we're learning, it's a Chinta Shakti. It's very inconceivable. His energies is very bewildering. Everyone is being bewildered by this Achinta Shakti. At every step, we're being bewildered. This Daivi Hirsha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mameva Ye Prapajante Maya Me Tarantite. It's very difficult. He's making clear actually. Mama Maya Duratyaya. He's making clear Daivi Hirsha that this is divine energy and this is my energy. There's distinction of energy. Even the Veda, the Parasya Shaktir, Parasya Shaktir, what is it? Vivadhaya Shuyate. That the Lord is understood through his various energies. He has many energies. And we understand through Prabhupada's books that there's innumerable of them. There's the external energy, marginal energy, and internal energy. These are various energies that the Supreme Lord contains. And in this way, we're able to understand how the Supreme Lord is acting through his Achinta Shakti. But the Mayavadis, they're not understanding. They're bewildered by the Achinta Shakti. They can't understand how the Supreme Lord can be simultaneously one with everything and also simultaneously have a personal form. In this regard, there's this verse, really nice verse, 9.4 and 9.5. These nice verses. All right. Okay. Mayam tatam idam sarvam jagadavakta mortina matsthani sarva bhutani nachaham teshvasthitaha. And Krishna goes on to say, by me, in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So in this verse he says, matsthani sarva bhutani. But in the very next verse he goes on to say, nacha matsthani bhutani. Pasya me yoga maishwaryam bhuta brin nach bhutastho mamatma bhuta bhavanaha. And he says, and yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation. For myself is the very source of creation. So he's making present his mystic opulence, his mystic potency, his Achinta Shakti. So the Mayavadis aren't understanding this. How he's able to be completely aloof from this material world, but simultaneously maintain it, create it, and destroy it. How he's able to completely be pervading in every single way. They don't know that he's pervading simultaneously through localized Paramatma, the Brahma Jyoti, and also simultaneously in his personal form as Bhagavan. They don't, and therefore it's due to illusion. It's due to illusion. Because of lusty desires, we become illusioned. We become illusioned due to our lusty material desires, and this is the core of it. This is why we're not able to surrender to the Lord. So in this way, we surrender to the material energy. We surrender to demigods. So many things we're surrendering, but due to our material desires, we're not surrendering to the Lord. And specifically the Mayavadis, although they're very proud of their dry renunciation and their knowledge, they're also consumed. They're also captured by Maya. They may have defeated many other forms of Maya, externally at least. They may not be performing illicit sex. They may not be overindulging. They may so many things they may not be doing. But it doesn't matter because they've been captured by the last day of Maya. Prabhupada makes his point. This last day of Maya is the last. It's the final one. It is the most dangerous one and the most easiest one to fall into. And this believing ourselves to be one with God, believing ourselves to be the Supreme Lord. And so that due to this, they may claim to be very pure, but they are themselves are contaminated by material desires, and the worst one of all of them. And in this way, they're bewildered, and they're making many foolish claims in the guise of being fully self-realized. They're making so many foolish claims. One is which that Vishnu is the product of the modes of material nature. This is very puffed up. They themselves are saying Vishnu is the Supreme Lord. There's the Supreme Lord is the material modes. It's really amazing, actually. Although the Veda literatures, sing of his glories, Janmadasya Yataha, that he's creating, maintaining, and destroying. But they're saying, okay, he's creating, maintaining all this ignorance, but he himself is also ignorance. We're saying, actually, Bhagavad Gita is saying that he himself is creating this illusory energy. He is the source of illusory energy. But the Mayavadis, due to nonsense, they're just saying, actually, no, Vishnu is illusion. With no proper basis, they're saying Vishnu. So that comes to the point, then you're saying that before Vishnu there was illusion. So you're saying there was Brahman and illusion was there. So first off, where did illusion come from? You're saying, more or less, you're saying illusion is stronger than Brahman. And more importantly, how is Supreme Brahman being affected by this illusory energy? The Prabhupada makes clear that this Mayavad is useless. It doesn't make any sense. It's completely foolish in every way. They're saying so many things. They themselves, it's so amazing because they are so many, Vishnu Sahasranam, so many stutis, so many glorifications of Vishnu that he's, Supreme Lord, this and that, even including there's so many things. But they themselves, Shankaracharya is saying that Vyasadeva is wrong. Srila Vyasadeva, incarnation in Krishna himself, is wrong. That he's making some grammatical error. He created whole Vedanta, hated whole Vedas, everything he created. He created all the Vedas. But this Ananda Mayo Bhyasat, they say there's some grammatical error. That he who created the entire Vedas made some error in the Vedas. He made some. This is foolish. How can you say that Vyasadeva is making some grammatical error? And they follow in Shankaracharya's line, but in the Padma Purana, in Adi Leela, I think Padma Purana, Adi Leela, chapter 8, Krishna Purport, Prabhupada, he says that, Shiva himself pronounces that he will come down and teach this Mayavad. But the Mayavadis, they're not so fond of these Puranas. They think it to be basically a joke. They don't take it so seriously. They like to do so much word juggling and entertain themselves with these grammatical suffixes like this. So in this way, they're making so many foolish claims. But how can you say Vyasadeva himself is making errors? In Bhagavad Gita, it's very clear. Chapter 10.12. We can go to chapter 10.12. It's very clear. Let's see here. Oh. Sorry. I'm not used to handling the Bhagavad Gita. Copy. So 12 to 13. Param Brahma Param Dhama Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shasvatam Devyam Adi Devam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devarshir Naradasthatha Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravishi Me. Krishna, Arjuna himself is saying, you are the Supreme Person of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, and the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Deval, and Vyas confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me. Arjuna himself is saying that Vyasadeva is recognized. Vyasadeva is recognized as authority in Bhagavad Gita. But what is Shankaracharya? The Mayavadis say, actually, Krishna, Vyasadeva, they made Bhagavad Gita, they made whole Vedas, but actually they did all this just so Shankaracharya could correct it all. It's so foolish. He's recognizing Vyasadeva. Narada, Asita, Devala, so many authorized saints, they're recognizing Param Brahma, Param Dhamma. And Mayavadis may say like, hey, Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, this and that, but actually, yeah, Vishnu himself is ignorant. He has so many glorifications, but actually those glorifications are about me. They identify themselves as not I am. It's so amazing. But Krishna is a Chinta Shakti. This last Nirmaya, they're so announced. They're knowing so many Vedic literatures. They're so intelligent, so much. So much, but they missed the biggest point. They themselves are so foolish. They think themselves to be Vishnu. It's really, really profound how you can come to this point so much. They're obsessed with these grammatical suffixes. Just like there's a vyaktam, they may reverse it. This like this, they're very obsessed with these little suffixes, and because they're very proud, because there's some technicalities they can switch. But Shankaracharya himself not only is saying worship Govinda, but he himself is saying that these grammatical suffixes will not save one from Yamaraj. You can know so many of these different, you can have so much knowledge, but they won't save you from it. He is saying, "He will save you from you." Who is he talking about? Who else is knowing? Who else is expert in grammatical suffixes except Mayavadis? Who else is like not some Shudra on this, some sinful Shudra that he's talking about? Who's like, who else is Yamaraj cannot save you if you're knowing so. He's talking about the Mayavadis themselves, but they're not understanding even their own Acharya. They're not reading the Puranas. They're not reading anything. They're just they're envious. They have a deep desire to be one with God, and they're concocting so many things, concocting Mahavyavakyas. This Tattvamasi, I am that. But this is concocted Mahavakya. Nowhere in Vedic literature to say this is a Mahavakya. Prabhupada in Adi Lila chapter 8, he himself talks about this Omkar and how it's a representation of the Supreme Lord, and this is actually Mahavakya. This is authorized Mahavakya. But they're concocting this Tattvamasi. So many things they're concocting. And it was so amazing. Krishna is arranging so much, but in everything. And just yesterday I was taking prasad right next to Archananda Prabhu. And I was taking prasad, and we have Papa's Kitchery like this. But Vijay Gopal Prabhu gave me this like mixed, it's guava, not like an actual guava, but this mixed species of guava that's like all white. So it's fully white, so it was in the corner. And so I finished on my poppers, and in the corner of my eye, I thought this was a popper. And I grabbed the guava. And it was fully white. I thought this popper was a guava. I was in illusion. And then I thought this guava was a popper. I mean, and Shanana Prabhu was like, yeah, illusion. That's the first thing he said. This is illusion. And it was such an amazing point. We're completely illusion at every step. And and it reminded me of this analogy that Prabhupada quotes often. This thinking a rope to be a snake and a snake to being a rope also. And Prabhupada makes his analogy, especially with even the material body, thinking ourselves to be the body when we're not. And Prabhupada makes the point specifically that this analogy within the Shastra is meant for the distinction between the body and the spiritual body. But the Mayavadis, they take this analogy and they use it to distinguish the material world to be false. They're thinking the material world to be true, but when it's actually false. But this is not how the analogy is meant to be properly used. How can there be material world be false? We're experienced. If I slap you on the face, is it false? If I hit you we meet so many Mayavadis on the streets. So many people, even in America, there's not really Mayavadis. They have this conception we're all God, but it's not through Shastra. It's through this hogwash mental, whatever, through the modes, whatever modes they're in. And so they say like this, I don't need Bhagavad Gita, man. I'm already there. I'm God. We're all one. And we say, okay, if we're all one, then give me $100. Give me $100. That $100 you're containing is my $100 also. Give me $100. And either two things happen. Either they don't give it and they look very stupid, or two, they do give it. And then you can distribute books to them. And it's very nice. And then they get some Agyata Sukriti like this. Many times we've done like this. Very good. Very good. I'm telling you. Because they're so proud. They're so attached to this being one. Okay, we're all one. No problem. I'll give you $100. No problem. See? We're all one. So if you want to do a lot of books, you can say like this. Actually, it's really good. I've done many times. I learned this from Mahosa Prabhu. It's very good. So you see that they make this point that we're all one like this. And, this material world is false. Although you're experiencing this world, if I slap you, you'll feel it. And if But if I take something or whatever, and if it's not that you're being liberated, I'm being liberated. So if you're liberated, why does everyone else have the prizes? You're liberated, we're all liberated, we're all one. Oh, but you'll say I'm an illusion. I have to. Why? We're one. You become realized, now become realized. Why would it? But then this is nonsense philosophy. So, but in this way, it's improper. They this is they say like this: Brahma Satyam Jaga Mithya. This whole the Brahma is Satyam, Brahma is real, but the Jaga is Mithya. But falsity cannot come from the absolute truth. The absolute truth only emanates truth. He may have different energies, external, but it may be the energy may manifest temporary qualities, but it's real. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachite Purnasyam Purnamadaya Purnameva Vishishite. That he's absolute, he's complete, and this is coming from Upanishads. This is everything that comes from him is complete. It's not that some things come from him is complete. This thing, everything. Om Purnamadav Purnamadam, everything it comes from him is complete. So you're saying that this material world is incomplete or false, but in Upanishads is saying that it's absolute. So where are you getting this? Brahma Satyam Jaga Mithya. Where are you getting this? It's false. It's temporary, but it's real. It's temporary but real. So it's not making any it's useless. And then they go on to say that this that we're all this Brahma Sarva Brahma Kalvidam, right? Is that Brahma Sarva Brahma Kalvidam? That we're all these things they're concocting through their own mental speculation. They don't understand. They're not understanding how all these things are operating. Therefore they're cast into the ocean. They may go on to go even merge with the Brahman. They must come down. It's not the constitutional position to be inactive. We were meant to serve the Supreme Lord. Jiver Swarupa hoy Krishna Nityadas Mamai Vamsha Jive Loke. Just like how a green parrot may go into a green tree, a tree with green leaves, they may apparently be one with the tree, but it's separate. Similarly, one may merge with this Brahmajyoti light. It's separate. It may apparently seem one with everything, but it's not. It's an individual. It's individual. We're all once in a sense qualitatively, Satchidananda Vigraha, but quantitatively he's much greater. We're was it Krishna Das Prabhu was making, or was it Stava Priya Prabhu was making the point of the size of a spirit soul, and this is in the Vedas. The size of spirit souls, 1/1000th of a tip of a hair, which is we're very minute. But the Supreme Lord is infinite. There's no distinction. If we were supreme, with so many people that come to our programs in Atlanta, these Americans, they're like, yeah, I'm God. Okay, then show something, manifest, do something. Get out of illusion. You can't even control your bowels. Get out of illusion. You don't even have all the opulences. Manifest a little more opulence. The Supreme Lord has full knowledge, full beauty, full wealth. Full renunciation, full fame, and manifest. What to speak of all of them? Manifest one of them. You're not having any of them even. But people illusion. Somehow or another, they're thinking they're sitting on some hill, and the sun is rising, and they're doing this, and they're thinking, yes, I'm making the sun rise. But the sun rising is somewhere else completely. You're not visible. It's rising somewhere else. It's so foolish like this. So it's completely foolish. We're meant to serve the Supreme Lord. We're meant to serve, and we do this by the guidance of a supreme, by a bona fide spiritual master, who is understanding the Vedas. Bhakti Vikas Maharaj makes this wonderful quote that the Acharya knows what Krishna wants and establishes it on the basis of Shastra. The Acharya knows what Krishna wants. Krishna doesn't want us to be one with the Supreme Lord. Krishna says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha ishami masuja. Krishna's making a distinction, aham tvam, me and you. That we should, and Acharya is telling us that this is what Krishna means. That we should surrender to the Supreme Lord. And he knows this. And he establishes that on many verses, such as, Veda Shashara Vaid aham eva vidya. That of all the Vedas, Krishna is to be known. He is the essence of all the Vedas. Krishna, and a bona fide spiritual master will say this. He will say that he's a servant of Krishna, and that that the disciple is a servant of Krishna. He's meant to serve Krishna. He will not say that I am God, and he will not say that this these Mayavadis, they say like this one guru, he gives his disciple all of his spiritual energy, and then a tear falls from his lotus eye, and then he says like this that and then the disciple asks, why are you crying? And then the guru is saying, because I gave you everything. Now I am nothing. I have nothing. What is this? It's a spiritual energy. How can you lose spiritual energy? Satchidananda. What is this? What happened to this eternal, all-pervading, how are you losing spiritual energy? Fellow, you were saying you are Supreme Brahman. How are you losing spiritual energy? There's this transcendental TM, this transcendental meditation, very popular in the West, by this one Mayavadi guru, and they get the secret mantra, and unique mantra, and you keep it, and because I met this one fellow in Miami, Florida, during this one event that's very crazy, very crazy. People are very materialistic. Some of the most richest people, most materialistic people around the world, they come to this, and it's like a fashion show, and it's basically just a show. It's like this thing where people just have to put on the biggest show. I am the biggest enjoyer. I have the most opulence. Look at me. I'm wearing diamonds. I'm wearing everything from head to toe. This hat itself is $10,000. This thing I'm wearing is $1 million. It's very, very amazing. It's really bewildering, actually. I've worked it twice. I will never work it again. It's very, I'm telling you, Prabhu, it's very bewildering. Miami itself is very crazy like this. So you go and I'm telling you, book distribution in America is so crazy. You don't know what's going to happen. So many Mayas coming in so many amazing ways, and even I come in Dhoti and Kota, people are asking me, oh, what is this? This is Gucci? This Prada? They're thinking like this, that this is like some designer. People are asking me, they're giving money just because they're thinking I'm wearing some opulent designer like this. So many people, they'll give you donation just because they're thinking you're like this. So anywho, I'm distributing books in this. I won't go there again because it's very, very not good for a brahmachari, to say the least. You can go yourself and you can see, but I will not go. But I met this one. It was really amazing because this place is very hard for book distribution, Miami, and for multiple reasons. Very passionate, very materialistic, very puffed up. And I was distributing, but I was trying for 1 hour, 2 hours, suffering. But then finally, mercy was flying. Books were going everywhere. Everyone, $20 minimum, $100. So amazing. And then and I was just feeling so much mercy. And then someone comes behind me, taps me on the back, and I turn, and there's this older white man. He looked like he had some money. He wasn't like some small guy, definitely. And then he's like, I know these books. I've read these books. He's pointing at the Bhagavad Gita stuff. I know this. Prabhupada, I've read these books. Like this. Just some random guy in my... And I'm like, and we keep Srimad Bhagavatam. Wherever we go, we keep Srimad Bhagavatam. This is the mood. This is what we do. Because you don't know, Bhagavatam can go at any moment. So I kept Bhagavatam some corner, and I was like, you have these? They're like, yeah. I was like, perfect. So I bring him to the Srimad Bhagavatam, presented to him, everything very nice. And he took Srimad Bhagavatam. It was very amazing. Didn't take much convincing. He took it $300, no problem. And anywho, I was, after so many months gone, he's still giving donations. I'm preaching to him, cultivating him, trying to at least. And for so long, he was attached to this transcendental meditation, secret mantra. So much, I'm telling him, just this chant Maha Mantra, bro. So many shots, I've smashed him so much. This is nonsense. How can something, you give a mantra and then you lose potency? This is not spiritual energy. And he was agreeing, but he was somehow so attached to it, like this. But finally, he was able to give it up. This bogus mantra that you give, and you lose all potency. Then he gave it up, and then next thing you know, he's watching so many ISKCON gurus. I haven't talked to him a couple months, but he was watching some very well-known gurus videos of ISKCON. I was thinking, wow, that's very amazing. I tried to send him Bhakti Vikas Maharaj lectures, whatever, but he whatever, but at least he's not, so it was very nice. But like these Mayavadis, they'll say like this. So many of these, but this is not proper understanding. This bogus nonsense, these temporary mantras like this. And we see that these gurus, they fall down into illicit sex. Like it's not permanent. You can't be fixed. I was in a plane all the way to India, and it's very hard because they have all these TVs, and somebody play. Everyone's watching a movie on these TVs, and sometimes it's very hard because sometimes I'm knowing like some movies are like this. So I'm trying to chant, but I'm seeing like some new movie that's coming out, and I'm really ashamed to say sometimes I'm looking up like watching part of it. And I was really ashamed, but then I got it back when we got to India. They were watching this. Now everyone's watching these Indian movies like this. So then one person's watching this movie, and I don't know what it is, but it's like it must be very well known. It's about this like guru, and he's like has all these followers, and like going Jai Baba, and he's giving all this Mahaprasad like this, Jai Baba, and it's like really amazing. I was like, whoa, what is this? Like this is crazy, like but then I like chant, and then after some time, 20, 30 minutes go by, I look up, and next thing you know, it's a court, and then like this guru is like behind, he's like in the court, and people are this Muslim lady is making like accusation that this guru has sexually harassed him. Many people are making this point, this case that, and so you're seeing that even in India, people are losing faith in gurus. They have no, as the Kali Yuga is going more because of these bogus gurus who are themselves propounding these nonsense Mayavad philosophies. They're losing people, and I heard like this that gurus may do so many things. They may have money, whatever, so much. They may appear, maybe even eat meat. But when these gurus, they get caught performing illicit sex, and people don't tolerate that more than anything. That's like one thing. So more and more these Mayavadis, they're coming out that they're performing so much illicit sex. They're doing so because this is envious. They want to be Supreme Lord. They want to enjoy like Supreme Lord, but they can't. They try. This is what happens in this Mayavad philosophy. It's just sense gratification. You want to enjoy like the Supreme Lord, so it's only a matter of time till you get down to even the most abominable forms of enjoyment, like this. So I just found that very interesting that they're making movies about this. I really thought this was amazing. And people must be millions of people watching these movies. Million people, and then how can you be surprised? You're speaking to someone on book distribution, and you're expecting them to follow Dharma, saffron or whatever. I'm coming, sadhu, you should give something. Why should they give? So many bogus gurus are like coming around saying this. They're seeing these movies. So why should they give some donation? But by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he's established an authorized institution that are making Paramahamsas, that are making pure devotees within a bona fide sampradaya, a disciplic succession. And by rendering service to these authorized authorities, one can obtain perfection. Tadvidi pranipatena paripashnena sevya upadekshani te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshinaha. In this way, we're able to obtain the perfection. We're able to fully realize Bhagavan in its personal form. And one final thing, time is winding up, that is really nice. The ultimate truth is a supreme and beautiful person, and thus throughout the creation of God, we will always find a personal touch. And just yesterday, we were watching this Prabhupada class, and Prabhupada is making so many points like this. That how can these atheists are going on and on about these theories. So many theories they come with. It's so prominent in America. We go to universities, and these intelligent students, they make so many. This Big Bang theory, this string theory. This string theory specifically is that there's multiple universes, innumerable universes, which sounds very nice at first. Like, oh yeah, that's in the Vedas. Like, yes, we believe in unlimited universes. But this theory is only to essentially disprove the existence of God, because Prabhupada making the point that this material creation is very fine-tuned, very perfect in every way. The sun is rising, the moon is rising at perfect times, the seasons are changing. The birds and bees, everything is working so nicely, so amazing. And even the scientists, they know like that there's this fine tuning. They even say, was it Chittaiprabhu or Devapriyaprabhu? Someone making this point that if just a little bit the earth moves, out of equilibrium with the sun, then it'll either freeze or the whole earth will light on fire. So it's just so finely tuned. Prabhupada's making this point. So what the scientists do to disprove this, they say, okay, yes, it's very crazy actually. How can this be so perfect, so finely tuned without the existence of gods? We'll tell you. There's not just one Big Bang, there's unlimited Big Bangs. Unlimited that come from nothing, We've never seen something come from nothing. We've never seen a construction come from destruction. But we'll say like this, just because we don't know and we can say like this. And there's innumerable explosions of something coming from nothing. And in this way, out of these unlimited, the chances are at least one should be perfect. At least one. Just see how much nonsense these scientists are saying. But no, Prabhupada's making the point that the Supreme is a beautiful person. He's not old like the Christians say. He's an old person because he's very old. Some old man with big beard on the throne. No, he's very beautiful. He's supreme, beautiful, and we will always find a personal touch. How can that which is formless have so much personality, have so much taste and beauty, so much? How is this? We ourselves are so attractive by this beauty. We ourselves like to behold this beauty with our senses. You're saying that the Supreme Lord doesn't have senses. We ourselves, we love these sense objects. That's perverted reflection, but the perverted reflection is the source of us being very much attracted to the supreme object of worship, which is Krishna. This is why there's so much beauty. So how can you say that the atheists on no basis even, and they're easier to smash than the Mayavadis, because at least in America, this is why these people, they say they're God or atheism, but it's not on any basis. You can smash it, no problem. And because they're just very much mode of ignorance, they're not understanding anything, then you smash them like anything, but they won't accept and they go. But Mayavadis, they'll argue with you like anything. This is very dangerous. So we should understand that we are servants of Krishna, and ultimately we are control. It's up to a choice. We're marginal potency because there are different energies. It's not that the Supreme Lord the Brahman is transferred. The Supreme Lord has various energies, and those are transferred, separate, and we are marginal energy, and we can either come in contact with external energy or internal potency. So just like Lord Brahma is being bewildered, we're being bewildered also, and everyone's being bewildered, even in the spiritual world. But it's a constitutional position to be bewildered by the Supreme Lord, but we can be bewildered by Yoga Maya or Maha Maya. And the Mayavadis are being bewildered by this Daiviyesha Gunamayi. So I'll close it there and leave it over for comments, complaints, and anything else. Yes, Prabhu. Yeah. I like to say that, like I've gone to Europe also a couple of times, and each place has its own flavor of like book distribution. And sometimes, especially Europeans, they may say like, oh, Americans, they will never be able, if they come to Europe, they will not be able to distribute any books. It's very hard here. And then they say America's paradise, and then they go and suffer in America, also Americans may go to Europe and suffer, and simultaneously, one may go to each place. Your Indians may go to Europe or go to America. So it's not that one place is harder to distribute than the other. Every place is hard in its own way. And it's just a matter of essentially like how to understand how to distribute there. And if you can't understand it, then you can distribute books. And if you can't, then you'll just suffer. So there are different ways. The way to distribute in America and the way to distribute in India is completely different. Maybe you've seen some videos, but it's almost like outrageous. If you see how it's distributed here and you see how we act in America, you think these fellows are like, oh my, even I'm like, oh my God, like I'm really a Malecha. Like it's like, because there's Malecha civilization, the cultures, what is it? You act insane, you act crazy, and that's very familiar to them. So in America, you can practically in America you can do anything. Anything. Actually, anywhere you can do anything if you have that vision. But in America, it's very easy. You can say whatever you want, do whatever you want. You can make crazy faces. You can jump. You can do whatever. Whatever you can say. You can say. Sometimes I like to even make up like fake language. I'll speak to them in gibberish. I'll just be like, "Hey, do you know where I can find the cactus? I've been looking at Kang." And they'll be far away, and they'll be like, "What?" I'll be like, "I've been wondering about saying that. I just have no idea." Like, and they'll come a little close, like, "What?" And then they come, and then these are for you, like this, or you can say whatever. generally in America, people are very puffed up. Very puffed up. So you can glorify them like anything. Like, bro, I love your energy, man. You got good vibes, bro. How do I get my energy like yours, bro? Like for real. And they're thinking like, yeah, I know I got good energy. Man, I don't know. I just got the good energy, they love it. Yeah, everyone loves it. You said it can be even outlandish comment like Miss, like, sometimes there's like some yoga master, Miss, like she does yoga. Like, Miss, are you a yogi from the Himalayas? You seem very peaceful. And they're like, oh, I love yoga. Like, so, but in India, they will not, you can flatter all you want. They will not fall for that at all. You can flatter them all you want. It will not work. Here it's just like, it's piety. You don't have to, and generally, whether I'm America or I'm India, I don't like to preach so much this, that, this a big thing, this, I just give them the books. Convince them within a minute or couple minutes or even less, convince them to take the books and finished. Otherwise, the more you talk, the more mental they get. So here is just, you give them the books. We are brahmacharis. You please take, and they understand. They should take the books, and it's just a matter of like, you please take and you ask. It's very straightforward here. Very straightforward. No problem. America, it's a little, you can act crazy, but the process of the instrument may be like different, but ultimately the means of getting the donation is very same. That you please give some money to help cover our printing costs. I say this everywhere. Just give some money to help cover the printing costs. So yeah, it's very different, very different. But I use a lot of the same stuff also in America here, just not the crazy stuff, but just the way of getting the donation. Yes, Chitai Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah. It's 9495. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. That verse is very amazing. When I read it, it stuck out to me so much because it is so amazing. Krishna said, "Behold my mystic opulence." Like, this is the inconceivability of my mystic. He's saying in Bhagavad Gita, it's really, really amazing, and that's why this philosophy is like so. It's unbeatable. It's undefeatable, and it makes so much sense. Naturally, the Supreme Lord can do whatever He likes, and anything's possible. It's really amazing. Prabhupada gave us like the Chinta Beta Beta Tattva. It could destroy every philosophy. That's why it's Nirvishesha Shunyavadi. Prabhupada in America is very nice for smashing these Americans because it's like they have no basis, not even Shastra. It just smashes them. It's these 9495 I want to learn. It's really nice verse. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam